Welcome. Here is a taste of the forbidden conversations. Before we dive in, let's step back and take in the whole stage. Because part of the story is how we got here in the first place. Think of life as a game, not one you download and play for fun, but one you're born into, with no rule book in sight. The rules, they were already in place when you arrived. No one explained them. You figured them out by watching, by listening, by guessing. And when you made the right move, you were rewarded. Break a rule you didn't even know was there, and the lesson came fast. We've all been through that. And what that tells us is that who we are is shaped by systems we never actually agreed to. Long before you were making your own choices, you were handed a set of expectations. The norms, the scripts, the "this is how it's done" instructions. A social role is simply the pattern of behavior society expects from you in a certain position. For women, caretaker, supporter, nurturer. For men, provider, protector, leader. And these roles aren't neutral. They come with rewards for following the rules, penalties for breaking them, and limits you often can even see. You didn't design this structure. You just walked into it. You learned how to survive inside it, and over time, survival started to feel like control. But survival has a cost. You became highly adaptive, deeply attuned, incredibly capable, but also self-silencing, stretched too thin, and unsure where the role ends and you begin. Roles weren't made to bind you. They were meant to organize and stabilize society. But when they get too rigid, they erase the person inside them. Sociology calls this role entrapment. When the part you're assigned becomes a cage. A role is like a costume you never agreed to wear. At first it fits, then it starts to pinch. And one day you realize you're more than the script you've been reciting. If you push back, you're not tearing things apart. You're reclaiming your authorship. Women were trained to be predictable, agreeable, pleasant, emotionally generous, self-sacrificing. Our roles were built on virtue. You were taught to be good, the good daughter, the good sister, the good wife, the good girl who becomes the good woman. Being good is nothing more than a collection of virtues: kindness, compassion, responsibility, fairness. But maybe it's time to ask what that word really means and why it leaves so many women feeling empty. Being good only means you fulfill other people's expectations and endlessly show up for others. You weren't born to be good. That's not a personality trait. It's an assignment. The good woman isn't you. She's a role written by the system. Sociology call it a normative gender script, a set of unwritten rules that keep society stable and comfortable, at the expense of your sacrifice and your true self. Society needs good girls everywhere, in families, schools, churches, media, relationships. So you're praised when you play along. You're punished when you don't. Yes, it can make you reliable, resilient, strong. But it can also leave you overburdened, undervalued, and disconnected from your own needs when you don't recognize its purpose. Most women didn't choose this role. They adapted to survive it. Even those who resisted were still defined by it, just from the opposite side. But you don't need to prove your worth by staying agreeable. You are whole, especially when you stop hiding your truth. So ask yourself, when have you been praised for being good? When what you really were was exhausted, quiet, or accommodating? Sit with that answer. It's telling you something important. Because the role isn't evil, it has value for the greater reality. But at a certain age, it's just too small for who you've become. And it's okay to let it go. Midlife is not a crisis. It's evolution. Our spirits grow into higher forms. When you outgrow a role, people may label you unreliable, disloyal, selfish, when in reality, you've simply evolved. You're not defiant. You're finding your true self. You're in the next stage of growth. Outgrowing a role doesn't mean failure. It just means it's no longer big enough to hold you. Now, ask yourself, what roles have you outgrown, yet keep performing out of habit, guilt, or pressure? Which parts of you were never truly yours? What truths have you buried just to keep that role intact? Stepping out of a role isn't betrayal, it's reclamation. You have the right to rewrite who you are. You're not here to perform anymore. You're here to become the next version of yourself. Every woman carries a truth she's never had the clarity to see, and thus never had the courage to speak. Inside Sigma's private space, you can tell us how you lived this experience. We go deeper into the origins of the role, the cost of obedience, and how to rebuild from the inside out. It's not a lecture, it's a mirror. The inner circle is where truth meets strategy. It's where you can immerse yourself in the understanding that the full forbidden conversations will give you. Explore our membership. I'll see you there. Stay sovereign.